Welcome back, my big beautiful friends, to Extreme Mode. Today on Marines we're playing on level 4, of course, playing on Impossible with no extra upgrades at all. Overall, this is going to be a really tough one. This is the first level where they actually have you maneuver around and do a bunch of different things kind of all at once. Before, the levels are just very straightforward. You just go that way and you win the game. Not so much anymore. So what I have to do is I have to do a lot of different micro in here and a lot of really quick reactions. So the first thing I did was I dropped my drop turret on these things. I got both of the command points. I'm starting to put my Marines over here as fast as possible. And I also brought my air unit all the way over to the right side over here so we can start killing all these little inglings over here trying to take down my turret eventually. So at this point, guys, I am doing post-commentary. Now, I didn't want to do this, alright? I really wanted to be able to do live commentary, for all these videos. But it got to the point where I was playing some of these levels, 5, 10, 15 times just to make sure I can actually beat it the way that I wanted to beat it. Sometimes I was beating the levels, but I just looked so bad doing it that it made me feel bad about playing it. Sometimes it took me like way too long to do, where I was just running back and forth way too much. So I even just replayed it to make sure I made a good video for you guys. So this is one of those levels or the exact same thing. I actually played it through it, and I beat it twice. This is the second run-through of me beating it, because I felt like I could do a little bit better of a job and a little bit quicker as well. So, I apologize if you guys are like, Chris, you suck. Why are you doing these stupid post-commentary? Well, I'm going to do post-commentary for the rest of these videos from now on. So please don't hate me too much. Anyway, so what that means is, of course, I kind of remember playing these things, and I remember most of my ideas and everything, but I don't remember every single little thing that I planned on doing here. So if I fudge up that, don't hate me too much. But anyways, the overall goal of this entire thing was to take the base to the right as fast as possible, kind of control where the people come out against me. Don't let them get a good build-up. Just attack right from the get-go. The biggest issue in this game is when you get big groups of guys. Even the worm gunners started to get ridiculously overwhelming. So you can tell on the bottom here, we're already starting to get overwhelmed. So that's why I took this flame turret guy back over here, and he's going to be my main guy that I just let him stay there. He's just going to stay there for the rest of the game and just kill all the worm gunners. So before anything too crazy happens, I already have to take over the next base. So Paragon's, of course, my main man. I love my Paragon. He is going to do major damage to pretty much everything that we can encounter over here. He's going to be my main squeeze, I guess. If we were an orange juice factory, I suppose. Fresh squeezed. Yeah. No pulp, though. I don't like the pulp. Actually, believe it or not, I actually like the fake, stupid orange juice that they give us more than real orange juice. Is that sad? Maybe a little bit. So, of course, waiting the very last second, guys, we got to be efficient with these guys before we end up using our heal. When we do that, we end up doing just a tiny bit more extra damage. But you can tell our Marines are starting to get overwhelmed already, so we're like, okay, we got to back up a little bit, guys. We're going to have to use our turrets a little bit. You might be thinking, well, this is kind of stupid, Chris. You should be using the turrets the entire time. Why would you just use your units? Use turrets as well. Like I said, the overwhelm factor is the biggest problem for you. They're going to start to overwhelm you kind of all at once in these big, gigantic groups. So it is really difficult to kind of combine all these things into an efficient manner. Anyways, oh crap, Paragon died on us. We've got all our Marines trying to survive on the top. They're trying to take this base over. We do have a lot of elixir. We want to get this up, but we also don't want these. Oh no, they're going to take it back a little bit. Alright, so we got to redo this again, guys. We're down to, our turret's just about dead on the bottom. Obviously, it's getting freaking extreme up in here. Hopefully, we can take this base and finally be 66% done with this level. That's the way I like to think about it. So we do. We take the base. Most of our guys didn't end up dying, but we got a little bit of extra elixir in here. We're going to build both these turrets right away. And with any of our extra money, we obviously got to buy more stuff. So we drop Paragon in here. We got to take both of these guys down in the back before we do anything else. They suck to deal with these things because you're going to have kind of everybody's attacking from all different directions. So you're really going to have to maneuver around and kind of do a good job with your microing, I guess. So what I need to do now is I actually need to take over the wall over there. So we're going to send everybody out into the middle over here. Paragon's just going to start doing his work over here. He's going to do his heals and everything. Keep himself alive so I can start taking some of these guys down. Our Marines are trying to get rid of these chuggas over here. But They are not easy to take down. Paragon's just about dead, and he does end up getting pulled up at the very last second. We, retreat him back into the base over here. But all of our Marines, they're not going to be doing very good work for a long time. So we're going to switch him over to snipers and let our, I call them Marines. They're really Rangers. We'll let our Rangers do a lot of the tanking. Surprisingly, Rangers are probably the best unit in the game, or at least the most versatile unit in the game. I know that sounds a little bit goofy, but they can be used for everything. They got good damage, they got really good defense, surprisingly good defense for a ranged unit. I would expect them to die way easier, but they don't, and they get grenades and stuff like that. They just end up being really, really freaking good by the end of the game. Alright, so our Marines obviously tanking all the damage right now. We don't want our turrets to die. That means 50 Ethereum's just gone right from the get-go there. So we're going to switch these guys into a big chunk of Rangers, and we're going to try and take over this area. Like I said, we got to get over to that right-sided area before we do anything else, otherwise they're going to overwhelm us, guys. Looks like we are starting to do a pretty good job. One of our groups of Marines is only one little baby guy right there. And they also have more of these sort of ridiculous tongue monsters coming in here. Slurping my towers down to nothingness. Alright. So I'm trying to do a pretty solid mix right now. I'm going to get a couple snipers because they do a little bit extra damage against these hammer grubs. And I also want to keep some Rangers kind of in the front. So we do a really good job of just making sure we use our abilities at the right time. Paragon's going to get healed all the way up again, as usual. And the one thing you're probably noticing at this point is we do have 200 out of 200 outside. So what I decided to do here is go full-on snipers. I don't normally do that, but I feel like I needed to get rid of these hammer grubs, and snipers are the most efficient thing, so leave them kind of right in the middle there, let Paragon tank all the damage, and let the snipers do the work. So I think the biggest issue that I had in this game was figuring out which bases to take first and when. At first, I thought I needed to take all three as fast as possible. But then what I ended up having a problem with was I didn't have enough Ethereum, and then I had the hammer grubs overwhelm me at several different locations and take me down. So by basically making a choke point in the far corner over here, I'm actually making it so the two bases don't really have to work as hard anymore. I'm not really worried about getting overwhelmed at those bases. And then what I can do is I just have the one random fire starter guy in the bottom left corner there, down in this little baby right here, and he's going to take down every single one of the worm gunners. Another thing that you learn as you start to play through this is that there's a lot of different units that come from the top right side. From the bottom right, it's only worm gunners until you take that base. Once you take the base, though, it starts to be a mixture of worm gunners and hammer grubs, which can definitely be dangerous. Alright, so we can't just defend forever. We're eventually going to have to push, right? Well, you can't just send every single one of your units, right? You gotta defend something. So I've got the far right corner there with two sets of Rangers. I'm going to take my my fire starter, my one set of Rangers, and of course, my delicious mofo over here, Paragon. We got to take this base down, guys. This is one of those bases where you might have to kind of go into it and retreat, go into it and retreat. Depends how well you're going to take these guys down. Of course, I'm going to use my left-sided ability. And this is going to do mega damage to everything, right, guys? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Mega damage to everything, but I don't know if we're going to take it down just yet. It looks like the Spore Crawler, one of the Spore Crawlers is taken down. I kind of want to take down the base first, because what I can do is I can kill the Spore Crawlers while I'm actually, like taking over the base, making it my own base. So Paragon's just about dead. We got to have him defend just a little bit. We do end up surviving for a little while, but Paragon's just about dead. I got to use my left-sided ability. Hopefully Paragon survives. I'm running away right now, but I still got to keep them alive. The Rangers, of course, tanking everything right now. It's getting really extreme at this point. Paragon, don't die! And then they aren't going to let me get it. The fire starter's going to have to do a little bit more damage over here, but I don't want anybody to die. And it's gonna be tight right here, guys. It looks like Paragon's trying to take just a little bit more. And they're starting to overwhelm me over here on the right side as well. So what I mean, you can't just leave everybody, everywhere. So they do end up taking this base, but now we gotta protect it for 120 seconds. So the Ether Grub, magically, perfect time, right? Stole my frickin' my Ether. So that sucks. So luckily, I got a couple sets of snipers. I've got Paragon just about back with both of his abilities. We didn't waste them at the wrong time. And it's actually looking like we might have a decent time with this. Now, the weird thing is they say, defend for 120 seconds, but the countdown doesn't even start for a long freaking time, which is really annoying. Look at that, 130 seconds, too. Like, what a joke. What an absolute joke, Eponymous. Alright, so Paragon's going to have to get dropped in over here. He's going to use his heal ability. He's got to take down these Ether Grubs, because as soon as I get rid of the Ether Grubs, I can start building more things, right? I feel like that's obviously pretty important. I have to build things. I have no turrets on the bottom right now, and there's a Hammer Grub coming down there as well. Paragon's going to have to move down there for sure. I need to have a better defense down here. So it looks like there is some extra Ethereum up there. We need to build a turret before this Hammer Grub takes down our thing. So Paragon's just about dead. I pick Paragon up. I drop him in the back. Our base is just about taken over, but I build a turret at the very last second, and we do end up surviving for now. Now we got 50 Ether right now. We're going to have to use that stuff up real nice, guys. The Hammer Grub's kind of running away in a stupid way. And we do have our ability back for Paragon, so as long as we don't die here stupidly, we should end up winning here. Only 30 seconds left to defend. We've got no Ether again. I didn't build my second turret stupidly, and it got Ether rubbed right on away. And we're going to have to use Paragon on the top now, because we don't want a turret on the top to die either. So as you can tell, I've got a couple sets of snipers at each one of these bases, and it looks like finally... I don't know, it's getting pretty tight at the top there. I thought, at first, I was like, oh, we got this in the bag. But now we're down to one turret on the top there. We got to drop our drop turret on these guys for sure. Paragon's going to have to just jump in there and do some freaking damage, man. They're all really close to dying. 1 second left, 0 seconds, and it looks like we will win that battle. Holy crap, was that freaking intense, man. The hardest part about this mission was defending for that last 130 seconds, by far. It was really like 2 minutes of defending. And, if you had an Ether Grub come at the wrong time and just steal all your Ether, you didn't have any way to get any defense. And on top of that, it's really difficult to kill the Ether Grubs because there's no missile launchers yet. So it's just a double negative right there for sure. So anyways, if you guys enjoyed, make sure you press that like button, and obviously have a super duper delicious day.